Hello, I'm Marcus V. Calvert, and welcome to Tales Unlimited Kitchen Rants. It is almost 4:30 on uh, July 7th. Just finished writing my weekly short story. For those of you who are new to this, I write a short story every week. I basically scream it from the rooftops. If you want to be a writer, if you want to do writing for a living, always spit out one short story a week, every week, no matter what, whatever you want. I personally think you should do it between like maybe 1,500 to 3,000 words. It's an interesting exercise in time management, discipline, sharpens the wit, sharpens the mind, allows you to organize a little bit better than you would if you were just, I don't know, blindly working on one project at a time. You lucky noobs. I can't do that anymore. I don't have just one project. I don't have just one book. I'm working on stuff now, and that's why I haven't podcasted much, for example. I'm busy. But at the same time, even with this newsletter due today, I'm literally going to stop podcasting and then send this out. That's how last minute this got. I always write a short story. And this particular project began on the 9th of July, right? So this is story 71. I came into the game with 9 stories already written before I said, okay, I'm going to write a short story every week for a year. That year will be 2 days from now. And I'm going to mention this now. I'm kind of going to brag a little bit now. Look what happens when you start writing short stories, one a week, every week. Don't stop. Maybe even 2 stories. And here's the good news. I would almost say drum roll, but I got to hold up this phone. Oh, I have enough raw material for a book of schemes and for an unheroic. And for those of you who watch me go through that whole brackets thing, I think I might use that a little bit for future stories. So if I write a story and it makes the cut like it's a really good story, I might see if it can replace one of those going into either the book of schemes or unheroic. But I have enough raw material. I just got to polish. Development help, basically, with the beta readers, editors, and whatnot. But I've written so many. I have 50 good ones to drop between 2 books. So somehow, some way, I'm going to swing at these books and get them out before the end of 2026. Oh, I need a clone. Anyway, the story. Uh, I gotta give you some background here. PopCon Indy, I met this dude. He was walking around in camouflage fatigues. He liked the pockets, and he had like different patterns from different countries. Interesting guy. He got me like to pick up an antagonist cookbook and literally generate a character around the look. I was just intrigued, right? So I'm thinking like, okay, you're a vagabond sort of thing, like Stallone in First Blood, just walking around, and for some reason you're moving around. What's your deal? Okay, the dude could fight. The dude could make weapons out of thin air. Mystic, criminal contacts, and I think he could curse you, right? Like he could actually curse you with his weapons that he made, and there never really came up with a backstory for him. I was just keeping him in my head because I had a lot of stuff to do. It was me looking through to see if this idea of like No Tales Unlimited, like book one, but no, number 4 for the Book of Schemes, number 4 for Unheroic, and then had some other stuff come up, then work, blah, 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 blah. I really wasn't thinking of this story, and I normally would have just procrastinated. But no, not for you guys. Not for this newsletter. That's why I think you should do one. Keeps you honest. Anyhow, story 71. Yeah, boy. I was gonna call it Drifter Man, but you know what? No. I I'm not gonna use this guy, this character, this background. I'm gonna go from scratch. So what made the decision for me was the hostage, because this was going to be a kidnapping story. And I think I've been doing too many kidnapping stories. I don't know why. I think I just like watching people get into these messes and then having them get out of them and try to figure them out. Maybe I should like connect and merge them all. Another advantage of short stories, like for example, if you have a bunch of short stories in a theme, like if you're writing zombie stories over here, fantasy stories over here, maybe you should tag them. And so, I have a lot of kidnapping stories here. Maybe I'll write a book around them and make it like the culmination, right? But so there's this gal who is college age, not the lovely swan, but the ugly duckling heiress of a dude who wants sons. So they don't have the greatest relationship anyway. Daddy issues. Mom's out of the picture. He's gone through two trophy wives so far. He's courting the third one. He just wants sons like Henry VIII, right? And she gets kidnapped. Best friend's wedding reception, and bad guy, this dude who's looking at a big payday, and in comes the cavalry. And it was supposed to be Drifter Man, supernatural badass, blah blah blah. But you know what? No, I made it more mundane, pure work of fiction, and yet I threw in some twists on this. Kind of like the story. It's not good enough to unseat anything. Probably would have been an unheroic the way this one came down. But that's a touch of the old bracket system where, for those of you who are new, I had kind of like imagine basketball brackets where I literally had stories vying against each other. I'd polish them one time, and the better story would advance, and then I'd do another set of brackets. And if that story was up against another story and advanced, it made it into the final cut. So like kind of like semifinals, finals, boom. But I don't have the time to do it. I have too many other things going on. I'm writing multiple books at once. So still, as I'm writing my new stuff, if anything comes off as, oh my God, this must go in, I will look at the existing tales and maybe I might bump it off and swap it. So a touch of the brackets. So it's good to try and experiment things like that. And sometimes you fail, and sometimes it's not so much a total failure as adjusting. Maybe it's also a matter of bad timing. As a matter of fact, my next bright idea is something I cooked up years ago and it failed. I didn't know what I was doing at the time. I didn't handle it properly. But while I was at PopCon Indy, it hit me. And that's what I've been freaking out over all week long. Am I going to tell you what it is? Of course not. But it is. It is consuming. It has occupied me all week long. This might be a game changer idea. Oh, you thought the antagonist cookbook was something. Oh, oh well. I gotta go. I have a newsletter to put out. I'm Marcus V. Calvert. This is Tales Unlimited. Kitchen Rants. Please like and subscribe. iVillain.net is where I keep the books. Amazon, Kindle. Please check them out. And have a lovely, safe week. Hope the holidays were fun and filled with ribs. Yum, yum. Ta-ta.